What up, people? It's your boy, the host with the most. I do not brag or boast, and I'm coming to you guys live from coast to coast. It's your boy. I'm Chris the Don One. Welcome, 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 welcome. As always, rate, comment, subscribe, share this live stream as well as this YouTube channel with your friends, family, as well as your followers. If you want to support the channel even further, hit the join membership button. Remember, membership has its privileges. All right. Uh, welcome, welcome, welcome to my Facebook crowd, my Twitch crowd, as well as my YouTube crowd. Don Squad in the house, stand up, salute. Okay. Welcome on this lovely Wednesday morning, may I add. Okay. So, we're going to get into episode 9 from season 14 of the new King of the Hill episodes. They all premiered at once on Hulu. Go check it out at your leisure. Okay. So we're going to be talking about No Hank Left Behind. So I'm going to give you guys a brief description of this particular episode. Okay. Hank takes Good Hank to a men's camp to install good values, but the camp is not what Hank thought it would be. Peggy stays at Bobby's apartment after getting an MRI. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so basically the episode starts off with Peggy basically hanging out with the girls, playing. Oh shoot, can y'all hear me? Okay. Basically, the episode starts off with Peggy hanging out with the girls, basically playing tennis. Peggy accidentally injured herself, she has a swollen knee, and she has to get she wanted someone to take her to the hospital. uh None of the women were available to take her, so she asked Bobby to take her to the doctor's office. Now, Bobby lives in Dallas, so that was the nearest hospital for Bobby. I mean for Peggy. So she went up there to that emergency room to do the MRI. I'm sorry, it sounds like I'm, in and out, but, I'm trying to do something here real fast, real quick. All right, we got that. So she goes to the doctor, they check her. They say that she has to get an MRI, and while she's in the machine, she has a panic attack. And they basically set an appointment to go back into the MRI, go back to the machine the next day. She had to stay with Bobby in his apartment, and Bobby and Joseph spent a lot of time with Peggy, had some fun with Peggy, and then Peggy, they was waiting for the next day so Peggy could go back into the MRI machine again. All right. So while all that was going on, Hank Cotton, R.I.P. to Cotton. Cotton done passed away, and Cotton left a settlement for Hank, Good Hank, and his brother that's in Tokyo. So that he gave them all a settlement, and his wife as well. They all received a settlement. It was a settlement of $5,000. So basically, everyone got $1,000 apiece. Okay, so Good Hank, everyone got their settlement, and from Hank's advantage, he felt like Good Hank, which was true, wasn't very appreciative of it, was really not respecting his mother because, like his Good Hank's mother said, ever since Cotton has left, there's really has passed, excuse me, there's, not a man that can instill some values in being a man. Okay. So she was basically trying to recruit Hank low key, but Hank did not want any parts of this. and he was trying to get out of this, but got stuck on the elevator. She asked him again, and basically Hank said, "Okay, I'm going to spend some time with Cotton's with Good Hank to instill some uh, becoming a man and having somewhat of a father, a man in his life, things of that nature." So they was watching television, and they ran across this men's camp, and basically this men's camp is to teach younger men how to, boys to become men, um about their finances and how to be alphas and things of that nature. It kind of harbors back to like a fresh and fit type of boot camp. Hank thought that would have been a good idea, particularly from the commercial. And Hank says, "Hey, Good Hank, we should invest. We should put our money towards doing that." So Hank and Hank, I'm sorry, and Good Hank, they go to this camp, and at first they like going to this camp because they really bonded together, and they learned a few things about this camp, and they thought this camp was going to really, really help them from but as soon as they spend a little bit more time into this camp, they find out that this camp ain't what it's all cracked up to be. So the guy was instilling them the wrong advice, saying that women are the number one problem why you can't advance in life, why you can't make a lot of money, well, your fitness and things of that nature, saying a whole lot of, stuff, being very negative towards women. And Hank did not like that. So Hank was telling Cotton they should quit this camp because this camp is just not right for both of them. So Cotton disagreed. Good Hank disagreed with him and rebelled back at Hank. And when when he was rebelling back to Hank was into a flashback, and he remembered he was, berating Hank like Cotton berated Hank, and Hank kind of, was taken back from it. Okay. Now on the other side of the pond, Peggy is dealing with her struggles with a panic attacks. She went into the hospital again, got on the elevator, had another panic attack. Then she had to go back to Bobby's apartment, and they had to reschedule another MRI, another appointment for Peggy to go into the MRI machine. Okay, so basically, to sum it up with Peggy, basically Peggy, was, messing around with, not messing around, but, wanting to have a pencil fight with Bobby. And Bobby was sort of busy, and, he, trying to keep the, he's still the owner of this restaurant. He's got like a lot of pressure on him. And basically, Peggy accidentally dropped a pencil on the floor, and Peggy said, "Don't worry about it, she'll get it." She's still injured. She uses a skateboard to roll up underneath the bed, and Bobby thought that was going to start another panic attack, but he noticed that Peggy did not have a panic attack underneath the bed. So Bobby put two and two together, is maybe because the reason why Peggy is having these panic attacks is not the fact that she's having panic attacks. It's the fact that the longer, she wants to spend more time with Bobby, but she has to create an excuse psychologically. Okay, she's not planning this on her own. But psychologically, as long as she keeps failing the MRI appointment, she will continue to spend a lot of time, with Bobby and Joseph. So right off the rip, Bobby figured it out. All right. So her third MRI appointment, she gets up underneath the machine. She, tries to, talk herself into, try to talk her, build confidence in herself. And the doctor says, one more thing, there's something else I need to mention, because she was on the mic, and there's an MRI machine in the room, and she's in the other room. And she says, "Hey, there's something else I need to tell you." And it wasn't her; it was Bob. She allowed Bobby to get in the mic, and basically Bobby talked to her, calming her down, talking about he's he's going to have once a week, a day where they celebrate Peggy's dinners, and he's going to call it Peggy something day. And he also told his mother that, if you ever want to come by and see me, or come by and see how the restaurant is coming, you can always do that. And that built up a lot of confidence in her, where she just stayed in the MRI machine. She didn't have a panic attack. Matter of fact, she slept in the MRI machine. And that was the real reason why she was having those panic attacks. It was really psychological, because she wanted to spend time with Bobby. Okay, so now that story's over with. Now we're going to get into Hank and good Hank. Okay, so basically, Hank called Dale to dig up some information on this guy who has this business, this men's camp. And Dale came up with some information that this guy ain't what he claimed he is. Okay. And basically the men's camp is owned, his mother owns a majority of this men's camp. So, he's up here telling everyone in the men's camp, don't trust women. And, he's, his major investor is his mother. Okay. So, Hank, got everyone to turn against the guy who ran the men's camp, and everyone rung the bell saying that they quit. But in actuality, they didn't quit. They just quit. They just gave up on this men's camp, because all the stuff that this guy was talking about was a bunch of malarkey. And come to find out, this guy has an ex-wife, and his ex-wife didn't say any kind things about him either. Neither did his mother. So everyone came to the realization they didn't really need this men's camp. And the reason why they have issues is not because of the women. It's not because the women of their lives, or the women that they want to be in their lives. It's the simple fact that they have made mistakes, and they came to the realization that they made mistakes. Okay, it was one guy who thought he was funny. Then he came to the realization that, hey, maybe a lot of his jokes didn't land, and maybe a lot of women took offense to a lot of his jokes, so he needs to work on that. There was this black dude that was always he felt like women didn't like him because he was broke or didn't make a lot of money. Come to find out, he has a lot of money. He has an alimony check, and the reason why he doesn't keep a lot of his money is the simple fact that he spends it on useless stuff. So he checked himself, saying, well, maybe I need to quit doing that. And there's this one guy, he was against women because women thought that he was short. Come to find out, the other guy said, look, I checked your dating profile out, and you saying that you're 6'4", but in actuality you're 5'4". All right, so you are kind of short. All right, so he said he needs to adjust. Everyone came to the realization that the real reason that they're having bad luck talking to women is of the things that they have said and done, and it just turns off a lot of women. So it's not the fact that the women were hating on them, it's just, some things they could fix that, as far as talking to women. All right. So that was taken care of. Hank and Good Hank started building a great relationship. And he told Good Hank's mother that Good Hank can come over anytime during the summer, and they're going to work on this car, just like he did with Bobby. If you are a King of the Hill historian, you know that I think it was in the early seasons, Hank, uh, bought this old junky car, and he wanted him and Bobby to work on it, and that way they would spend time with each other, and just shoot the shit and things of that nature. So he's taking that same approach with Good Hank to instill, to have a good relationship with him, so he can instill in Good Hank on how to be a man and how to treat women and things of that nature, like he did Bobby. All right. So another so one thing. Okay, I want to get into this episode. This episode was kind of it wasn't. I thought this episode was very entertaining. I thought it pulled on your heartstrings some. It did have teary moments, even though I didn't cry. Okay, but it also had a message in this episode, and a lot of people realize, yeah, King of the Hill episodes, they're funny. Some certain things to be said be funny, but a lot of those episodes were life learning things. Okay, when you was a teenager or when you was a kid and you happen to saw King of the Hill, you can learn a thing or two about life in a funny way by just watching King of the Hill. So to me, I felt like this episode, and out of all the episodes of King of the Hill, I felt like this is the only one in season 14 that had some substance to it, that had meaning to it, about things you can learn in life by just watching King of the Hill. Okay. So I thought that too. When I was watching the episode, I was saying to myself, man, this episode is kind of familiar. Not familiar like they redid something that they already did, but it just had those elements of, and I said to myself, wow, this episode kind of reminds me of the time when Bobby went to a women's self-defense course, and he started kicking guys in the nads. And I said, this episode kind of reminds me of that particular episode. And come to find out, almost at the end of this episode, the doctor was talking to Bobby, and as she was checking the MRI machine, she noticed that Peggy's bone structure is set up kind of weird in her legs, in her thighs. And she said it's almost like a 12-year-old kid kicked her, up the where. And then Bobby said, how the kid was 12? So I said to myself, this episode is sort of kind of eerie, similar to when Bobby Hill when he was a kid, trying to learn self-defense courses, and he developed a defense tactic for women that he used. So when a bully approached him, he would kick him in the nads and stuff like that. And that was a very, very funny episode. And I said to myself, yeah, that does kind of remind me. And funny enough, they talked about that particular, they didn't talk about the episode, but they talked about things that happened in that episode in today's episode. So yeah, I thoroughly loved this episode. I don't think it was the funniest episode. It did have some funny moments. not Dale, but Bill tried to hit on Cotton's wife, trying to take Cotton's wife out. And she did a funny in there. That was pretty funny. That's closer to the end. It did have a lot of funny moments. They utilized the characters a lot better in this episode, but this was one of those episodes where it was pretty darn funny. But it's also an episode that I see a lot of guys in the same situation Good Hank's in, where they're trying to get information elsewhere with that they don't have a father in their life or a grandfather in their life or an oldest brother in their life, and they take advice from the wrong people. This is one of those episodes where you can go, well, you know what, maybe and it's got Fresh and Fit all written all over this episode. So yeah, I thoroughly love this episode. This episode was good, and like I said, I don't watch 9 episodes, and I like counting this episode with the other episodes. There are 3 episodes out of the 9 that I like, and that's not a good average. That is not a good average whatsoever. But it is what it is. I mean, if that's and I've said from the beginning of this, I'm not too thrilled with season 14 of King of the Hill. I'll talk about it later on the final episode, my verdict of season 14 and the future of King of the Hill and things of that nature. But guys, I'm done right now. Guys, I'd like to thank everyone on Facebook. I'd like to thank everyone on YouTube and Twitch. Thank you so much for just giving me a chance to talk about King of the Hill. It's your boy, the host with the most of Do Not Brag or Boast, and I'm coming to you guys live from coast to coast. It's your boy. I will talk to you guys later. Deuces.